No matter what type of application you create, you will most certainly work with text or characters to display some information. For example, airline booking codes, license plate numbers, or even just plain text with emojis on a messaging application. In Swift, this type of information is represented using the string type, and in this video, you will learn about strings and how to use them in your code. By the end of this video, you will know about the concepts of literals and mutability, and learn how to manipulate and compare strings. First, let's begin focusing on what developers mean when they use the term string. You can think of a string as an ordered collection of characters surrounded by double quotes. For example, the string, "hello there." In Swift, strings are represented by the string type and are Unicode compliant. Don't worry too much about the term Unicode for now. Essentially, this is just a unique number that computers use to reference each character or symbol. This means that you can even use things like emojis. Strings are commonly used everywhere in programming, especially when you need to work with text. One example is the comments you make on social media. Okay, so now you know what a string is, let's explore the concept of the term string literals. This is the actual group of characters surrounded by double quotation marks. For example, suppose you declare a constant named myString and assign it the string value of hello world. In this example, the literal is the open double quotes, hello world, close double quotes. Notice that the string is stored in a constant. Swift is also clever enough to store that constant as a type string, so you don't need to tell it. Next, let's explore the concept of string mutability. If you assign a string to a constant, then it is immutable, which means that it can't be changed or modified. For example, suppose you create a constant and assign it a string value of hello world. If you try to reassign this constant to something like hello there, you will get an error in your code. However, if you were to instead assign that string to a variable, the string is said to be mutable, which means that it can be changed. Okay, let's move on to combining strings now. This process is also known as concatenation and is performed using the plus operator. You may recall learning about the plus operator earlier and how it can be used to perform calculations with numbers. Well, the plus operator can be used to perform similar actions with strings. It allows you to take two strings and combine them. For example, suppose you create two variables, string A and string B, and assign them the string values of hi and there, respectively. So, you have let string A equal hi and let string B equal there. Using the plus operator, you can combine or concatenate these string values and then store this result in a new variable named newString. So you write let newString equal string A plus operator string B. Now the phrase hi there is stored as one string in the newString variable. Next, let's explore how you can compare strings. This can be done using two types of equality operator known as prefix and suffix. Prefix checks the beginning of the string and suffix the end. Let's explore this in a little more detail now. Before you continue, it's important to note that checking the prefix and suffix uses a functionality known as methods that you can apply to the strings. Essentially, these methods are a predefined set of instructions that return a result. Don't worry too much about understanding methods right now. You will learn more about them later. For now, just focus on how you can use these built-in methods called hasPrefix and hasSuffix to compare strings. Okay, so suppose you create a variable called quote and assign it to a value of hello world. Let quote equal hello world. Next, you want to check if this string starts with the character h. You can then use the hasPrefix method to check if the string value begins with the character h. So you type quote.hasPrefix h in quotes and within parentheses. Since this is correct, the Boolean value of true is returned. The same applies to the suffix method. If you were to say that quote.hasSuffix or ld, which is the end of the hello world string, it will also return true. It's important to note that the values that these methods check are case sensitive. So, if the value began with a lowercase h, the result would return false. Methods are a powerful tool in programming and provide us with a wide variety of functionalities. For example, you can also convert strings from uppercase to lowercase and vice versa using the methods uppercased and lowercased. Suppose you create a variable called aString and assign it the string value of hi there using capital letters for H and T. Next, you create another variable called upper and assign it the value of a string variable with the uppercase method appended, which is just another way to add to the end. For this, you type let upper equal a string dot uppercase open and close parenthesis. This now means that the string hi there will be converted to all uppercase characters and stored in the variable upper. The lowercase method works in the exact same way, except all the text would be converted to lowercase. Another popular use of methods with strings is counting the number of characters in a string. This can be performed using the count method. Once again, you will learn more about the count method later. For now, just focus on how the count method returns the number of characters in a string. For example, suppose you create a variable named aString and assign it to a string value of hi there. You can then create another variable called theCount and assign it the value of the variable aString appended by the count method. So your code is let the equal count equal string a.count. In this example, the variable theCount will store the value of 8. This is because the string contains 7 letters and a space, so 8 characters in total. Finally, let's explore how you can create multi-line string literals. When programming in Swift, you can't create and store blocks of text in the same format as you would when typing in a text editor. For example, if you were to create a variable and assign it to a multi-line string using double quotes, you would get an error. To create a multi-line string, you need to use multi-line string literals. Instead of starting with a double quote, you put 3 double quotes and then type the text in the formatting that you want, including spacings and indentations. You then finish with 3 double quotes at the end. If you print this out, it will print exactly as it is formatted in the code. This process is known as what you see is what you get, or WYSIWYG for short. In this video, you learned how to work with strings in Swift. You learned about the string type, literals, mutability, concatenation, and how to work with string methods to perform actions such as compare and count. You can find out more information on strings from the additional reading at the end of this lesson.